Hey everyone, it's Brandy and welcome back to my channel. So this is day 2 of my week full of videos, unless something goes wrong unexpectedly during the week. Anyway, long intro for no reason. Today I am going to be talking about my anticipated reads for this year. So before I actually get into the books that I'm going to be talking about in this video, these aren't all the books that I'm looking forward to this year, but these are the ones that I'm most looking forward to. So I narrowed it down because I didn't want to talk about a whole bunch of books and have this video be super long. So I narrowed it down to my 12 most anticipated releases, and I think I may have forgot about some just because I don't really have any other information about some books. Also, I'm going to be talking about these in the order that they're going to be released. So let's just get into it. So the first book that I have on my list is The Cruel Prince by Holly Black, and this actually is released today, which is January 2nd. This one follows a girl named Jude, and when she was 7 years old, her parents were murdered, and her 2 younger sisters were taken off to live in the High Court of Fairy. And then we follow her 10 years later, and she wants nothing more than to be a part of this fairy court. And in order to kind of solidify her place in this court, she has to defy the king and then face the consequences against that. The next book that I have on my list is Unearthed by Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner, and this is going to be released January 9th. From my understanding of the synopsis, in this book, Earth intercepts this message from this long extinct alien race, and they believe that their technology is going to be the solution to Earth's environmental damage. So we follow 2 characters. One is a guy, I believe, named Jules, who is a scholar, and then we follow a girl named Amelia, and she is a scavenge, and they both smuggle themselves onto this alien planet called Gaia. I believe that's how you say it. And after some unforeseen circumstances, they end up having to work together in order to achieve what they both went to this planet to do. And like I mentioned in my last video, I am still sick and my throat is acting crazy, so if I get lower and lower throughout the video, sorry about that. My throat is kind of irritating me the more I talk, so yeah. Anyway, we're gonna keep going. I'm gonna try to make my way through this. So the next book that is on my list is Reign of the Fallen by Sarah Glenn Marsh, and this one is being released on January 23rd. And in this world of Carthia, I believe it is, we follow this girl named Odessa, and she is a master necromancer. And basically, whenever a noble dies, it is her job to retrieve their souls from the Deadlands. And when these people are brought back from the dead, they have to remain shrouded, or they risk turning into these zombie-like creatures, and these creatures or monsters are called shades. And then in some process of the book, it is discovered that people are purposely being turned into shades, which, like I said, are these zombie-like monsters, and they're being trained to attack. So I'm not really sure where the story is going to go from there. The next book that's on my most anticipated releases is Society of Wishes by Elise Kova and Lynn Large, and this one is being released on January 29th. So this one is actually a new adult urban fantasy, and this follows this girl named Josephina, and she is making a living as a hacker for hire. And one day, her and her friend, who is working in the same profession, are gunned down in a government raid, and she calls upon this power that was passed down to her from her grandmother, and basically this witch granter appears, and she makes a wish to save this friend's life. So because of this wish she makes, there is a cost for her, and basically her cost is that her whole existence is erased, and she is kind of forced to become a wish granter as well. So after all of this happens, Josephina sees that her friend is heading down the same path as before, and she uses her powers to save him, but she has to face the consequences of her actions. So the next book on my list is The Bells by Danielle Clayton, which I'm sure is another one that a lot of people have on their list as well. But this one is set to be released on February 6th. So from my understanding, in this world, which is like an alternate New Orleans, everyone in this world is born gray. and these bells have the power to make people beautiful. So we follow a belle named Camilla, and she doesn't want to just be an ordinary belle. She wants to be chosen by the queen to go work in the palace and, you know, work for the royal family and the court. But once she gets this opportunity, she realizes that it's not exactly what she dreamed, and the queen asks her to risk her own life using her belle powers in ways that they weren't intended to be used. And it just, I don't know if I'm explaining this good enough, but it just sounds amazing, and cover is beautiful, and it's just, I can't wait to get my hands on this. So for like the second half of my list, I didn't really get descriptions because I believe the majority of them are some type of sequel. So the next book that is on my list is Daughter of the Siren Queen by Tricia Levenseller, and this one is set to be released February 27th. This is actually the sequel to Daughter of the Pirate King. The next book that's on my list is Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi, and this one is set to be released on March 6th. Now, I didn't really look up the synopsis for this. I did hear someone talking about it, but it sounds like one of those books that I kind of want to go into not really knowing much. The next book that is on my list is Obsidio by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff, and this is set to be released on March 13th, and this is the third book in the Illuminate Files. I am definitely looking forward to this one because I was expecting this one to be released in 2017, but it ended up getting pushed back a year, so I have been waiting on this for an entire year. So I'm really looking forward to this one. I think this might be like my most anticipated read for this year. The next one that I have on my list is A Court of Frost and Starlight by Sarah J. Maas, and this is set to be released on May 1st, and this is actually the novella. So this is like the number 3.5 of the A Court of Thorns and Roses series. So this one is supposed to bridge the gap between the first trilogy and then the spin-off books, and I'm not really going to talk about this one just because I don't want to give anything about the series away. Next book that I have on my list is Nightblood by Ellie Blake, and this is set to be released on June 5th. This is the third book in the Frostblood saga. I believe this is the third and final book in the Frostblood saga. The second to last book that is on my most anticipated reads for this year is Nyxia Unleashed by Scott Rankin, and this is set to be released on July 17th, and this is actually the second book in the Nyxia triad. And the last book that I have on my list for my most anticipated reads of 2018 is As She Ascends by Jodi Meadows, and this one is set to be released on September 11th. This is the second book in the Fallen Owls trilogy, the first book being Before She Ignites. I cannot wait to see how much more this world is opened up and where the story is going to go from there. So those are the 12 books that made it onto my 2018 most anticipated reads list. If you guys have any of these books on your list, let me know which ones, and if you have some other ones that I have not talked about that you think I might enjoy, also leave those down in the comments, because I would love to know what you guys are looking forward to and some other books that I might really enjoy in this year. But that's all I have for you guys for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys again in the next one. Bye.